I, 29 male, think my wife, 29 female, has been cheating on me, despite denying it repeatedly. Advice? Start. My wife and I have been together for 9 years come December. Around this time, it will be 4 years that we have been married. It hasn't been an easy relationship, but up until now, we've always seemed to work it out. I got arrested once while in college and she supported me while I took care of my fuck up. After college, I took a job that had me traveling to the other side of the country regularly for 19 months. And we made it work. We got married and I took a job locally to be closer to her and start a family. We had trouble getting pregnant for a year and a half and underwent a very emotional draining fertility treatments attempting to have our first kid. After our last resort worked, it was 9 months of pregnancy and all the hormone fluctuations. And then when our son was born, it was a new parent syndrome attempting to figure out how to take care of a kid and still manage an affectionate relationship and what little sleep we had. All this said, our son is now 1 year old and things have finally seemed to relax into our early days of the relationship, where we have everything we could ever want and the milestones of life have been achieved. Well, at least for myself it seems. In July, my wife started talking to an old FWB she had 10 years ago. The dude is a recovering drug addict with no education and loves to party and continuously relives his party days when he basically fucked every girl he saw. I tried not to tell my insecurity get the better of me when she asked if he could come visit and stay in our house. I agreed. It's been quite some time and that time might be a good thing for her. Little did I know what I was getting myself into. This dude is my exact opposite. Loud, annoying, obnoxious. Takes his shirt off for no apparent reason on a regular basis. Yells inappropriate, sexual comments every other word, even at 1 a.m. in our backyard with neighbors around. I like calm on man, but I told myself it was just a weekend and we'll get through it. The entire time I was worried that my wife was wanting this guy, as her demeanor toward me he had changing for a month leading up to this. While the references he made about all the sex they used to have was constant, he kept reassuring me this is just how he is, and that he had no intentions of messing this up. He told me this. I didn't instigate it. Well, 3 days after he had gone back to California, my wife tells me I have not been showing her enough attention, and she has been bored and felt stale, and all that stuff you typically hear. I call out the timing of this after the dude left, and she tells me it's purely a coincidence and that he is just a friend. So we work it out, and I agree that I have been distracted at work and I need to show her more affection. Before the next part of the story, I should say, she has always prided herself in being the honest one and never lying, and always calls me out whenever I even tell a half-truth or jokingly lie about something. We have also discussed many times in our relationship that if one of us ever wanted to cheat, we would split up before things ever got that far, out of respect for one another. So recently, her work has been doing system upgrades and requested the entire staff to work 2 solid weeks straight, including the weekend. She asked me if it is cool if she goes out with her co-workers after work on Saturday for dinner and drinks. Anta stayed the night with a friend of hers from work so she isn't driving drunk and she is to work the next day anyway. And her co-worker lives near her work. I say that it is a good idea. She can go when down, and I will watch our son for the 2 days over the weekend. No problem. Well, after she came back Sunday, she was very dodgy about the details of her night after about 11 a.m., saying she was very drunk. And they were out till 3 a.m. jumping from place to place and doesn't remember where they went. The interesting thing is bars here close at 2 a.m. There is literally nothing after 2 a.m. and she has to work at 8 a.m. the next morning. So these holes, as well as many other red flags over the weeks, had me suspicious. This morning I checked her email to find an email receipt for a hotel from Friday to Sunday, paid for by her. But the name was not hers to check in, but it was for her FWB friend from a month ago. Coincidence? After seeing this, I've been in a haze trying to pull myself together. In the very rare chance that she didn't sleep with this guy, she, at the very, very minimum, lied to me. And this is what hurts most of all. I could really use some advice by anybody willing to offer it. I know this is a long post, but the full backstory I felt was necessary. The mind games, making me feel this is all stuff that I have done wrong and that I need to fix this. And this whole time, it hasn't been related to me at all. Please, give me some help. Update? I asked her to go to her parents' house and stay there for some time. She agreed, but continues to act dumbfounded and confused as to why I ask. I told her when she's ready to be real with me, I'll be here. She asked for an explanation and I said, I feel like I'm the one that deserves the explanation. At this point, she's either playing dumb, nothing actually happened, or she thinks I have no proof besides speculation and is doing to write it out under the assumptions I don't really know. Update number 2. I really fucked this whole thing up. I let my insecurities get the better of me. The guy was in town for a concert and did not have a credit card. She helped him with a room, and I believe her. I went off the deep end and tried to be sneaky by texting 2 of her co-worker friends, asking if she went out that weekend and if she worked. They showed her the text messages and the whole thing blew up in my face. Now, she's not coming home and she is saying we're done. I violated her trust and went through all of her things, and I acted like a child and immature. Having her leave with my son instead of leaving myself, the other is not just confronting her directly. I have ruined all of this, and I don't know what to do. I am fighting with everything I have, and she is talking to me. But her mind is very much final. Please, somebody help. I-32 female snooped on my husband's 33 male phone and found out he is bi. We have been married for 5 years. My husband has different message tones for all his closest friends. Over the last weeks, he has been texting a female friend. I think she got a text from her through the day and it was way above normal that I notice it. He has always been very protective of his phone. He always used to leave it unlocked, would lend it to me if I wanted to do a quick search, but he has been with his phone. He never locks his phone and he always takes it with him everywhere he goes. He had told me that at the start of their friendship, 12 years ago, he had feelings for her, but it was fleeting and they have a really strong friendship. I was feeling jealous and betrayed. I have been cheated on before and still, I'm a bit insecure about this. 2 days ago, he had left his phone unlocked. I opened his messenger and his last message was, I'm good at hiding it. I should have just left the phone at the table and minded my own business. But that text confirmed all my fears and I couldn't stop myself from opening it to read. I regret it. He wanted to come out but was scared. He was scared of my reaction. He was scared that I would not find him attractive anymore and that we would have to get a divorce. He thought it was not worth coming out. I came to my senses and I kept his phone back on the table. My head is spinning a little. What do I do now? Should I tell him that I know that it is okay? I feel terrible of hiding things from him. I want to apologize to him for snooping on his phone. I also feel a bit sad that he was more comfortable trusting her than trusting me, which is not very mature in my part. Would it better if I tell him? I want to do what would make him happy, but I can't just ask him that. Update. I did not expect so many responses and I was a bit confused on what to do. But I guess most people in the community was telling me to give him space to process it himself and come out on his own terms. I took the advice to be generally supportive of the LGBTQA community without being obvious about it. I also spent some time reading about bisexuality. I did post a story in June 1, but the best thing that happened was that his friend came out as bi herself. We follow each other on Instagram and she had made a post about it. I made a comment congratulating her and wishing her well. She did text me about a dinner and while we were chatting, she thanked me for my support and this wonderful woman gave me another opportunity to express my support and do it in more personal way than a comment. He came out to me about a week ago. He was very nervous and still scared, and all he wanted to do was tell him that I knew, but from what I have read, letting people do it in their own terms were really important. He told me nothing would change. He just wanted me to know, and he didn't want to hide a part of himself. It was okay. I told him nothing had changed. He was the perfect man for me, and I loved him no matter what. He did ask me later if I knew, and I came clean. I told him I saw, apologized for it, and cried a lot. He was upset but understanding. He even apologized for suddenly changing his behavior, which is bullshit as I should have dealt with it a lot more maturely. It just hit just right spot of insecurity for me. Things are fine. He is happier and we're getting back to our old routines.